is changing and we are being urged to change with it. And self-awareness is actually what is being called for, and a deeper self-awareness of, you know, how we operate from an emotional perspective, how we operate from a mental perspective, how we create our reality, and how we operate from a spiritual perspective and from a soul perspective is becoming incredibly important. With that kind of self-awareness, we are better able to make decisions that are more aligned with our soul purpose. We're better able to make decisions and choices for our lives that are better aligned with the path that we are taking in this lifetime. And we stop diverting or distracting ourselves from what it is that we're supposed to be doing. We just get on the path and we just move forward. And I think that self-awareness also gives us a greater confidence in ourselves. And as a result of that confidence, we're able to live life on our terms. So we're no longer living a life that is being dictated by our conditioning, our programming, the beliefs that we've taken on, all of that stuff that has brought us to this point in our lives where, you know, we recognize that actually this doesn't serve me any longer, but how do I let it go? And a lot of the work that I do with people is questions around, what is my purpose? What am I doing? How do I tap into my soul? How do I access the truth of who I truly am? How do I deepen my intuition? How do I become more conscious and more awake and more aware? And one of the benefits of this program, the Pathways to Mastery program, is that it offers you a step-by-step process that will take you on a journey to self-awareness. And that self-awareness is not just self-awareness of who am I and why am I here, but it's a deepening awareness of yourself as an emotional being, as a physical being, as a mental being, and as a spiritual being. It gives you a deeper awareness of the triggers that you may have, the emotional blocks that you may have, the mental constructs that sit within your mind and your consciousness that are limiting you, the self-sabotaging beliefs that you may have, the beliefs that you've taken on from your culture, your society, your religion, that you've grown up with, that you've absorbed from your environment. And it gives you a step-by-step process that unpacks all of that and offers you the freedom to be able to step into, this is actually who I am. This is who I want to be in the world. It gives you choice, which is often something that we lack when we are living a life that is determined by external forces. And we're being called to begin living a life that is determined by an internal force, and that internal force is our soul. Now, in order to be able to access our soul, we have to clear away the patterns, the programs, the conditions, all of that, that clouds that essence, that hides that essence. And in order to do that, you have to go through the process of unpacking what are those clouds? What are the veils of illusion that sit between me and my soul? What are the things that are blocking me from accessing my own wisdom? What are the things that are blocking me from accessing my own truth? Because there is a huge amount of information available to us now, particularly from a spiritual perspective. There are hundreds of websites, thousands, probably millions of websites, millions of books. There are all these courses, there are all these tools, there are all these meditations, there are all these things that are out there that offer all these solutions that tell you what you should be thinking, what you should be feeling, and how you should be going about living your life. But actually, the only person that can tell you that is yourself. Now, if you don't know yourself, and I mean know yourself as in know your shadows, know your weaknesses, but also know your truth, know your light, know your wisdom, and have clear access to your own intuition, how do you do that? How do you live life on your terms? How do you make decisions and choices with a deep, deep, deep knowing that this is what I have to do, despite whatever anyone else says, despite what the world tells me I should be doing, despite how the world tells me I should be living? And be able to step into that and walk in that truth without faltering and without fear and without limitation. Because that's what we're actually being called to step into. We're being called to step into this expanded state of ourselves. But what does that even mean? How do we do it? So the Pathways to Mastery course is one such opportunity for you to be able to do that. And I'm not saying that it is for everyone, because it isn't, but it is one way that you can access the truth of who you are. One way where you can create a deeper awareness of yourself on all these different levels. It was a course that, well, it is a course that I developed nearly 10 years ago now. And it was something that I took people through orally initially. So we would meet once a week and we would go through the teachings, and I would give everyone the exercises and I would guide them through the meditations. And it was an incredible process, mostly, which a lot of it was done in nature. So we would go out into the mountains, or we would go into the forest, or we would go to the beach. And I would use those spaces to enable people to connect with nature, and through connecting with nature, connecting with themselves. And then I had someone contact me, and they didn't live nearby, and she said to me, I can't join your course, but I need to do this course. I can't be there every week, but I need to do this course. Can't I do it long distance or online? And I said, no, definitely not possible. Can't do it. You know, me being overly responsible and trying to control everything. No, can't do it. You need to be there. I need to be able to hold that space for you. All this nonsense excuses that I came up with. And she just didn't let up. She kept going at me, and every couple of weeks she'd send me another email. And eventually I sat down and I thought, okay, she's not stopping. So let me sit with this and see what is my own inner guidance telling me what is possible. And so when I did that, I sat with it, and what emerged out of it is what Pathways to Mastery is today. And it took me 9 months to put this program together, because it is very detailed and very in-depth. And I needed a process that would support people through a journey of transformation, that would hold people through a journey of transformation that actually brings results. Because we can do all the work, you know, we can read all the books, we can do all the workshops, we can go to all the talks, we can listen to all the webinars, but those don't necessarily bring results. We have to be able to know, how do we do the work? So this course is structured in a way that you are given weekly lessons with self-reflective exercises, meditations, and exercises that will ask you to go out into nature. A lot of the teachings are founded in indigenous wisdom. So I've drawn on indigenous wisdom from all cultures in the world. So that is the Bushmen of Southern Africa, the Native American or First Nations people, the Australian Aboriginal people, and the Celtic people in the northern European states. And through their wisdom have been able to collate this program that offers you an opportunity to not just deepen your self-awareness and to deepen your connection to yourself, but also to deepen your connection to the earth. Because that is also one of the requirements of the journey that we are all on at this point, is that we have to deepen our awareness of this planet. We have to become more in tune with the rhythms and the flow and the energy of the earth, which we have become very disconnected from. And one of the beautiful sayings that I always is top of mind, really, for me, is the I can't remember who said it now, but there is a saying that comes from Native American wisdom where it talks about the web of life, and that everything that exists in this planet is one strand of that web of life, and humanity has disconnected themselves from that web of life. And we have to weave ourselves back into that web, because if we don't, there is no point for us being on this planet anymore. So the course takes you through this journey where you will connect to the different elements. So we start the journey working with the emotional self, so connecting to our heart, working through our inner child. We work with water, so we work with the element of water. Part of the journey will encourage you to connect with a body of water. That can be the ocean, it can be a lake, it can be a stream. It doesn't have to be something big as the ocean, but just a body of water during this time. You will go through a journey where you will unpack a lot of the things that have kept you stuck emotionally, and you will move through blockages. That process takes about 8 weeks. Once you come out of that segment of the course, the next phase that you step into is the physical. So this is reconnecting to your physical self, your physical reality, understanding and creating a deeper awareness of the physical body, understanding how the body works from an energetic perspective. It's also about reconnecting to your inner world and reconnecting to your feminine energy. And that is the divine feminine energy, not the wounded feminine energy that most of us carry. So reconnecting to that divine feminine energy. And that's an 8-week journey. And then the next segment is connecting, and also through that time, you will connect to the earth. So the element in that segment will be the earth. The next segment is connecting to the mind and becoming deeply aware of your consciousness, how your consciousness operates, your beliefs, those patterns and programs that impact you and sabotage you. You will connect to the element of air in the space. So it's a very expansive space. It's about working in that expansive consciousness, because our consciousness is big. Our mind is quite small, but our consciousness is enormous. So it's moving into that space of beyond the barriers of the mind and into that expanded space of our consciousness, and connecting to the divine masculine, that energy that exists within us, whether we are male or female. And then that's an 8-week journey. The next segment is connecting to the element of fire, and this is the spiritual body. So where we step into this space, we explore the spiritual aspect of ourselves. We explore what that means for us, not what we've been taught, not what we've been told, but what that spiritual essence within us looks like, feels like. So there are a lot of meditations, particularly in this segment, because that's a deeply meditative space, the spiritual space. And that's another 8-week journey. And then you step into the center of yourself and you step into your soul essence. And here you begin to explore that soul aspect of you. And by the end of the course, you bring all those aspects into unity within yourself, creating a space of wholeness within you. So all those parts of you that have perhaps been disconnected or separated out become one within you, and you begin to operate and live life through that space. And in fact, the journey never really ends. And I always encourage everyone who does the course, and Megan and Fiorenza will confirm this, but to continue the journey once you have finished, because if you do the course, you'll see that everything lines up with the seasons. So if we look at the equinoxes and the solstice, these are key points. And what I do with everyone who has completed the course is, at the time of each equinox and each solstice, I will send you an email and I'll say, this is what you're stepping into for the next 3 months. This is where your focus needs to be. This is where your awareness needs to be. This is where your growth is. Go back to your notes. Go back to your lessons. Go back to the meditations. Go back to the questions. Go deeper. Just go deeper, because this journey is something that you can do over and over and over again, because every time you do it, you just go deeper and deeper and deeper into it. And you have all of these exercises, you have all of these meditations, they're available to you. So it's not like you need to sign up for the course again. It just allows you to go deeper into yourself and gain a deeper understanding of yourself.